I love it when a poet takes a lane that is that is under construction, if you will.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
nobody has gone down that lane because they saw a detour or they saw construction, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, nah, we're gonna move this sign, and
Facts.
we're gonna go down this street real quick.
See what's going on. Yes,
I
sir.
love it. I
Yes.
love it.
Introducing the Poet Life Podcast. Go check it out today on your favorite platforms, including iTunes, Apple Music, and the website, thepoetlife.com.
Find a way, find a way.
You know, cutting people off without your blinker on means that you don't know how to communicate at all. I'm in charge. You just drive a Charger. Thinking you going fast, burning half a tank of gas, end up at the same red light next to me cruising past. Blowing the horn because you got one. Speeding like you ain't already late. Google Maps don't lie.
Hey, I am Christoph Jenkins on the Poet Life Podcast, and I am excited tonight. I'll tell you all why I'm excited. It's because, I scour the internet, I recruit via the internet, social media, and all of that. We're an agency here at the Poet Life, and I was scrolling some time ago, and, you don't see often poets creating content, we call it content creation now.
Mhm.
Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
And I come across Mr. B Rockstar's page, and he's literally doing all of the trends on like TikTok and Instagram Reels, but he's relating it to poetry and spoken word, and it's so refreshing to see a poet go down a lane that hasn't really been gone down yet.
I take the ball, I bounce it, I shoot, I miss it.
Mr. B Rockstar, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? I'm excited.
I've been waiting for this conversation, bro.
I was trying to contain my excitement, but it's not going to be contained. I'm excited all the way around.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it so much because I'm seeing the importance of incorporating content creation in the industry of poetry.
Absolutely.
Right? All right. Like we're seeing it so crazily everywhere. And what I'm learning is in order for poetry to be relevant and prevalent, we have to insert ourselves and or disrupt other realms and other industries and other areas. And so why not get into the content creation like you're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what gotten you into that mentality, that mode of, you know what, I need to start creating some content?
I've been creating content for a minute now, man. At least about 5 years. I've probably been like kind of active on creating content. But I think it was really during COVID when I just had that time on my hands to just like, you know what, like content creation is where it's at, and I really got to like dive into some of these lanes and just start filling up space, and like like you said, we're just not as present and on these platforms, and we should be as spoken word poets. Like we should be, you would think, at the top of that list, but we get so we box ourselves in a lot, and we'll probably talk about that a lot more. There's so many ways we box ourselves in, and I'm just a fan of like not being in a box. I like to push the limits, because that's why I know when I like going too far, because that's when I know where the limit is, so yeah, I just like to keep going, see what works, see what doesn't work, and just keep it pushing.
What I'm finding though, in content creation, you have to not care what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
Like you got to step outside yourself.
Yeah. And that's an advantage that I have, man. Like I think that's why I'm like really pioneering this thing the way I am is because how I am in real life is how I'm presenting myself on social media. And that is like, I'm going to do me. I don't care what you think. I'm going to do me, you know. I'm like, as far as presentation, how I look, that's kind of another story. But as far as how I act and how I am, just this energy, just, you know, I'm gonna say what I want to say as long as I'm being respectful, you know. Yeah, that's how I move, you know. So I'm really starting to I realize that I'm mastering how to translate that through the camera now, because if you meet me in real life, most of my followers, they're literally people that have met me in real life. It's no like viral or any type of thing that blew up, any video. Literally 80% of the people on my page met me in real life. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna follow that dude, and they still follow me to this day. I have very, very loyal followers, very loyal followers.
Nice. You know what I got from you when I first came across your platform is that, okay, he's portraying what he does on stage. So he's like showing us, he's giving a taste of what we would get when he performs. Is that the thought process or thought pattern, or?
Yeah, you can kind of say that, because what you'll mostly see if you go to a poet's social media page is them performing on stage,
Right.
And that's cool. That's awesome. It's amazing. We need that. I have that as well. But the story is what gravitates people in. That's what brings them in and keeps them in. It's like this ongoing message. It's not just this one poem, this one piece with this one particular topic. No, it's everything. It's the lifestyle, the poet life. It's my life, through reels and posts and stories, so it's important they know how it feels behind stage, how it feels to rehearse over and over and over again, what it feels like to drop a line on stage, what it feels like to all these different nuances, I guess you can say, have to be captured through social media in these entertaining ways. So yeah, you can kind of say it was, yeah, I would say yes. I would say yes.
That's what I got. I was like, he must be like very animated and gives you a show.
Oh yeah.
That's what I got from it.
Oh yeah, and that's, I'm glad you said that, because you haven't. I don't even think you've been to any of my features before.
I haven't.
Yeah, my features are like off the chain. Like I'm gonna go ahead and toot that horn. My features are off the chain, bro.
Yeah.
Like I've recently gotten back into more audience engagement, and what I mean by that is most of my features, all of 2021, except 2 features, were all like the feature started, and you didn't know it was over until it was over, and then you clapped at the end. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40. I did a 45-minute feature last year at the City Winery, and like literally it wasn't until the very end when I'm like, hey y'all, I'm B-Rock, let's have a casual conversation before I get off stage, but I like both sides. I like to, engage between the pieces too. That's also very effective. But it's the animation, it's the drawing them in, the entertainment of it all, man. That's what's most important to me,
Yeah. It's a show that you're putting on. You're putting on a one-man show.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's like, like a comedian, like an artist performing, and at the end they're like, and everybody's like, oh, it's over. Yeah. I can't wait, man. I really can't, because it wasn't until recent when you started like really doing the reels, and then I started noticing, he's doing that reel that I saw on the, okay, cool, now that's making sense. Because before, like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, he's using this to like show how he would be on stage. But then I'm like, oh, he's being extra strategic, because now I'm learning more about reels and the power behind them. I'm like, oh, this dude has a major brain. I love it, because I don't know, if you notice, like I've gotten into reels now, and like now I catch myself on a daily, like checking my views, like it's going up, like
right. It's so much organic growth through the reels, because they're still competing with TikTok and other platforms.
Right.
So they want to So yeah, man, you got to use it.
And it's so key, man. It's so key that in order to grow this industry, we have to keep a keen eye on what's happening around us.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, not just think in our poetry box.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because we can leverage and utilize the things around us
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to grow our brands, build our platforms, and expand our reaches,
Mm-hmm.
our reach. Where did poetry come in for you? Like, what age, what era?
Whew. Yeah, so it's funny. I was a poet and didn't know it, type of thing.
Mm,
I was writing when I was 6 years old,
mm,
and it wasn't even poetry. It was these what I called emotional notes. When I would describe it growing up, I would write these emotional notes to my mother, and it was always why this, why that, why are we poor, why my daddy not here, why, all
mm.
these different terrible things that we were going through growing up in Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore. So shout out, yeah, you be having some Baltimore cats up here. Shout out to my boy
I
Chakra. I
love
just want to pay
Baltimore,
that out there.
man.
Yeah. But yeah, so that happened for like years, and then in high school, I think I was my senior year. We had a poetry project, I guess you can say. We had to like submit like 15 poems, and it were
Mhm.
like all these different types of poems. I literally did it like overnight. Like I procrastinated the whole thing, and then like the night before, I just boom, 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 just cranked all of them out, submitted it, and got an A. And still not even thinking about it. I'm just like, oh, whatever. I
Mhm.
hated poetry, by the way. Like let me say that I actually hated poetry.
Is it because how it was presented to you?
Yes, absolutely. In the I've made reels about that. Poetry in school versus spoken
I've
word in real
seen
life.
that.
It's like in school, it's like the flowers are this and the roses are that and da, 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 and you're like, oh my god, boring. No, so that was my mindset. Fast forward, the year after I graduated high school, I was dating this chick and we broke up, and then we got back together, and then we broke up again, and it was like really rough. And I just wound up writing this emotional note, and I like infused some lyrics from Lupe Fiasco's song The Cool and Alicia Keys' song The Thing About Love.
Mm.
And this thing was like 7 pages long, and I read it so many times I accidentally memorized it. Accidentally. So fast forward a year later, I'm in college, and I went to North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride. Shout out to my Aggies. Okay, so
My brother went
so
there.
freshman year, I'm chilling with my homegirl. She's a theater major, and I'm in her dorm. She's doing these monologues, and as she's doing, I'm like, man, I got something kind of like that, and just like not even thinking, I'm spitting the. I was like, I think I could remember it, and I just spit it. This is my first time saying it out loud, but I didn't even realize I memorized it, and I said it to her. She was like, oh my god, that was amazing. You need to come try out for this organization. I was like, what is it? She was like, it's called Couture Word. I'm like, Couture Word, like, what is that? She was like, it's a poetry group. I was like, poetry? Like, get out of here. I'm not doing poetry, bro. But she dragged me to the open mic, and went to the open mic. I was like, all right, this is cool, but they were promoting for the poetry slam the next week. And so I went to the poetry slam the next week, and I was like, what is this? Where has this been my whole life?
Right. Yeah.
And it was a very non-traditional slam. Like some of them had singers with them, some of them had music behind them, some of them had dances. It was very non-traditional. It was more entertainment than it was a competition, I guess you can say. And that's what I was drawn to. So that summer, this is like the end of my freshman year. That summer, I'm just writing poems. I go on YouTube, I'm looking up poets, I find Def Poetry Jam. I'm like, yo, I'm just watching. I'm like, yo, what is this? So fast forward to the sophomore year, I'm trying out for the organization. This is the biggest organization on campus, so it's like 200 people. It had an open audition, 200 people in the room. So the person in front of me scared, the person behind me scared. And they was like, why are you not scared? I was like, I had a lot of mess going on in my life at the time.
Yeah.
Like I was just trying to fight to stay in school at the time, to be honest. And what happened was I just was like, I don't care. They're going to like it or they're not going to like it. Like I said, I've always been me and just true to me, and just never really cared about what people thought, So 30-second audition, I go on stage, boom, 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 and they had like a little horn for the 30-second, and like I got it off right before the horn, and it was like, yeah! I mean, the whole room erupted. This is my first time performing ever.
Wow.
The entire room was on fire, and I immediately knew, at that very moment, what my life was about to be about. My life literally started that day. Like it's never been the same. Like it's night and day from that day, the day before and the day after. Like it just completely swept me up.
Wow. Yeah, and that was college, freshman year?
Sophomore year. Yeah,
Sophomore
sophomore year
year.
College. So this is like 09.
Gotcha.
09,
So you graduated 11 or 12?
I graduated in 14.
Hey, listen, I'm right there with you. I went to Norfolk State, gave me a good 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I switched my major as well. So,
Gotcha.
the first 2 years I was an econ major. But once I did that poem and I realized where it was taking me, I mean, it was like literally like I'm performing at this school. I got asked to feature at this school, feature at this school, feature at this school. Now I'm in this state. Now I'm in this state. I did no work, no marketing, no nothing. Like I would perform somewhere and they would ask me to perform somewhere else. That happened like that for the first 2 years. So as that was happening, I was like, yeah, I got to switch my major. Like, I'm not doing econ. I'm going English, creative writing, and literature, and I'm gonna use that to my advantage as I continue this career. So yeah.
That's dope.
Man.
That's awesome, man.
It's time to create an unforgettable experience at your next event with the Poet Life by booking a keynote poet. Poets excite your audience with motivating messages, charismatic delivery, colorful rhythm, powerful prose, and heart-filled stories with a style of spoken word that's tailored specifically to your event. The Poet Life has keynote poets in your city of all ages and backgrounds.
Visit thepoetlife.com to learn more and book your poet today.
And now here we are. I would have never thought it would got this far, but
yeah, man. It's inevitable when you don't stop. It's literally inevitable when you don't stop.
That's the trick.
It's just a matter of when.
That's it.
And the mystery of when most people can't handle.
Man, you speaking tonight, boy.
They can't handle that, like not knowing if it's tomorrow or 10 years from now.
Yeah. You can't worry about that, man. That's why you gotta really, when they say you gotta love what you do, you really have to love it. Like you really have to be, and it has to be your passion. I have so many friends. So like when I first started, it was like 7 of us, and all of us was aliens. All of us was monsters on that stage, and I am literally the only one left. The only one. And to be honest, I wasn't even the best one. I was like maybe 5th, of all of us, but I just kept going. I became the best, but it was because of that consistency. I literally did not stop for the first 7 years. So I in 2018, I did this thing called Mute May. And Mute May was basically, I took a whole month and I wasn't going to perform on stage. Like I said, I'm not going to do that. And the reason I did that is because it had hit me. I was like, dang, for 7 years straight, I've been performing at least once or twice a week for 7 years straight, like holidays, breaks, like no breaks at all. Like 7 years straight, I performed at least once or twice, and sometimes 4 or 5 times in a week, but at least once or twice for 7 years straight, So I was like, Mute May, I'm gonna just try to be quiet. It was hard, but I did that to remind myself, like, okay, like I am a person outside of the stage now, like, but I love the stage, man. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's called discipline.
Yeah.
You are self-disciplining yourself. That was self-discipline, and again, that's another thing that's hard for a lot of people. That self-discipline piece, if they don't have someone that hovers over them and disciplines them to make sure that they're being held accountable.
Yeah.
And it's not the easiest thing to do.
It's not.
It's not, especially when you have an affinity, a passion for something. You want to just go. But when you're pregnant with something, and it's something that you've been ordained to like give birth to, you want to like do it now. But then there comes premature birth, and it's not, and it hasn't been birthed at full term. Like you have to literally go through the process. And like you said, you got to enjoy the process.
You said something earlier that resonated with me as far as like transitioning from corporate to full-time artistry. So I left my job, my corporate job, 6.5 years ago. And it was, in retrospect, it was rough, but I had so much fun. I didn't even realize some of the things I was putting myself through. Like, so I'm literally the entrepreneur that they describe that jumps out of the plane and builds their parachute on the way down. Like, and thank God it opened before I hit the ground. Like, and it might have opened a little late. I think it like opened and I like hit the ground. It's still a little hard, but I survived though. You know, but yeah, it was so many nights, so many days when I know people would have gave up. I know they would have gave up, you know, because I sacrificed everything. I gave up everything. Like, I had a cushion. I had it, you know. And it's funny because one of my homeboys, there was only 2 people that I can recall that was like, you're going to be a poet? No, you don't want to do that. You know, you basically trying to deter me. You know, nobody else really deterred me. For the most part, the majority of the people around me, they believed in my talent so much. They was like, yeah, if anybody going to do it, you going to do it, you know? You know, but there were 2 instances where I remember they were like, and they kind of planted their fear inside of me. One was my boy, who I met up with on my first tour. So, you know, I'm telling him like, yeah, I'm about to leave my job, bro. You know, I think I want to do this poetry thing full time. And he was like, nah, man, like, because I was getting a raise. I got one raise right after I graduated, and I was about to get promoted to a salary job. And right before the promotion, he was like, yo, like, take the salary job, you know, grind for 1 year, and then, you know, use that bread to, you know, boom, boom, boom. Sounds good, right? It sounds good. But I promise, like, as I look back, I would have blinked and 7 years would have passed.
Yep.
I know it. I know it for a fact. 7 years would have passed, man. And I'm just so happy that I believed in myself enough to be like, nah, I'm going for it. You know, because I have opportunities now that I wouldn't even have dreamed of, you know, 7 years ago. You know, so yeah, man, that discipline is super crucial. Super crucial. Yeah, man.
So you've been full-time for 6 years.
So yeah, about to be 7 years. Yeah, this year will be 7 years in June. Yeah, man.
Beautiful, man. Have you surrounded yourself with like-minded people?
That's the only way to make it. And it's scary. So the scary thing about that, the hard part isn't surrounding yourself with like-minded people. It's divorcing yourself from people who don't have your mind, who you care about, you know, and understanding that they have a certain place in your life that isn't fully, you know, involved with where you're trying to go, you know. And that's why, like, people, like, they kind of judge me for my following count. You know, they're like, you know, you're not really following nobody. I'm like, well, where I'm going, nobody's been, you know. So, like, well, I'm gonna follow where you taking me. Like, you're not taking me nowhere. Like, where I'm going, you want to follow where I'm going. Like, that's how this goes, you know. That's how this works right now, you know. So it's very important, man, to that environment. You know, there's I don't know if you heard of Sleep is for Suckers.
That's my guy, David Shane.
Yeah. So he has this ad that I just see all the time. Like, I'm tired of seeing it now, but but I mean, he's paying it. I'm gonna keep seeing it. I'm gonna keep liking it and supporting, bro. But he's very crucial information. He says the keys to being an entrepreneur is information, activity, and environment. Information, activity, environment. You gotta have the right information. You gotta be doing the right activity, and you gotta be in the right environment. And like, the environment piece is crucial because it's a war that goes on, you know, because yeah, you can be stronger than your environment. That's what I did. You know, that's how I was able to survive Baltimore. But there is still these subconscious ways that the environment will influence what you're doing, you know. And if you consume too much of it, you'll just do things that are out of your nature, that are out of your character, that are outside of your discipline. You know, and you'll kind of fall. It's so easy to fall into, well, everybody else is doing it, I'm gonna do it. You know, so, you know, yeah, man, that environment is crucial.
No, I understand, man. It is not easy to do. You know, there's some people that you can strategically distance yourself from, right? But what do you do when it's family and you know, and so that's why that like-minded environment is so important, because like you said, you're around your family so much that you can easily fall into that and don't even know it.
Don't even realize it.
Don't even realize it. And so that's why it's so important to tap into that environment that is going there. like my hand is going up,
Right.
and I hate, you can't talk about this stuff to everybody.
You can't. It sounds
Because
arrogant. It sounds like, it sounds like
you
you
don't,
think you're better than us. No, I just want to be better for myself. Like, I don't want to be better than you. Like, nobody's better than anybody, but you can always be better than yourself. You can always, that's why I say reaching your higher self. That's what I'm on, is reaching my higher self. I love growth. I love being uncomfortable, because that's where the growth lives.
Poet Life University welcomes you to the world of creation, thoughts, expertise, and professionalism by offering technical knowledge, practical support, creative encouragement, and whatever it takes for you to create the poetry career that you've always desired, but never knew was possible. And the best part is we have professional poets from around the world as professors to teach you everything they've learned throughout their poetry careers. We are currently offering several 8-week live courses that will help you gain a deep understanding of poetry, become confident in your work as a poet and writer, learn how to start your own business with the help of an expert, enjoy the freedom that comes from being able to pursue what you love on your terms. Are you ready to take your poetry to the next level? Learn with others by doing for the future from the comfort of your home. Get in touch with us at www.poetlifeuniversity.com and enroll today.
Yeah. I said to someone that I want you to win. I always got your back. I want you to win. And their response was, "So are you saying that I'm losing?" I was like, how did you get that from me saying that? Well, the antithesis of you wanting me to win means that I'm losing. No. Then I gave the example, and I was like, why am I having to do this? And I was like, well, you heard of the phrase, win the day. That doesn't mean that you're losing the day. That simply means to seize and go for the gusto, like really go for it each and every day.
Carpe diem. Yeah.
Yeah. And I say that to say that some people, you just cannot drive yourself crazy trying to make someone understand. And you're going to try because you want them to understand.
You love them.
You love them. And again, you authentically want them to win. But there's a point where you have to stop giving examples and simply
be the example. Be the example, man. Oof. I needed this interview tonight. Boy. Yes.
And I'm just speaking from experience. Again, it's hard to talk about it because, when you're around people that are not talking that same talk, they feel like you're looking down on them, like you said. And sometimes I just have to stop talking. Sometimes I just have to stop. I said, I think it's best for me to stop talking because after a while, it's just like, no matter what you say, is you think you're better than us. And
yeah, I just say what needs to be said these days. Say what, unless you're like literally like your life is in danger, I'm gonna just let you keep bumping your head. Like bump your head as many times. But if you get a concussion, then I'm gonna come in and help you. But I'm gonna let you keep bumping your head, man. I mean, it happened to me. Like there was some things, because I've done a good job at really taking criticism well. That's why I've gotten so far, because like I hear people. Like even if I don't agree, I'm at least listen to what you have to say. But there were some moments, some areas in my life where I just didn't want to bend on, and I had to get my head hit. Sure. And I realized like, okay, yeah, they were right. So in due time.
For sure, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. I think practical application and sometimes you do have to go find out on your own and learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes for some things, if you just learn from someone else, it's going to be beckoning you to like to see. I just want to see what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that hard hit to the head will teach you a hard lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those hard lessons lets you see how it was, just like the person said.
Mm-hmm.
And that also teaches you how to teach someone else
Absolutely
not to do that thing.
Absolutely. What you go through becomes a testimony, and that's why I really appreciate my 7-year journey so far, because like there was a lot of wrongs, but through all of those wrongs, I found those couple of rights, that's really, really taking me to the next level. And that becomes a stencil for somebody else. It's like, look, you ain't got to draw it from scratch. Like, here's the stencil.
Trace this.
Trace that, and then you'll be all right. If you want to listen to it, if you want to do it your way, that's fine. But here's the stencil. Yeah.
But that's the premise behind this podcast, is to have you on and show us the stencil, show us the blueprint for your journey and how you made mistakes and how you've achieved some goals, and how can that budding, blossoming poet detour and get around those things so they don't have to bump their head. And so because, man, I'm 39, man, and for 30 years I've been trying to figure it out. Okay, you mean to tell me literally there's no money in poetry? Like literally, like for real? Like I know people say it, and I believed it for the longest time, but that's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
There's money in everything. So how is there not money in poetry?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is, man. And it's so funny to kind of connect some of the things we've talked about, as far as like one of the mistakes that I probably made was not fully knowing myself. And what I mean by that is I had some bad habits, especially financial habits, that I had to break, before if I wanted to run a business, and like there's this guy named Prince Donnell. He has this tax company in Philly, and he talks about being the CEO of your own life first. A lot of us, we want to be CEOs of a company, but we're not even the CEOs of our own life. We want to create these systems. We don't have a system that we run by.
We're the janitor of our own lives. We just cleaning up whatever we mess up.
Hey, I love that. We are some of us are janitors of our own lives, cleaning up the mess we made. And I love that. But in real life, you have to be the janitor and the CEO. You have to be all of that, for a little while, until you kind of get into a system where you can start delegating some of the roles. But it was very important for me to get out of my own way. Oh God, I had this. So I was the topics on the themes of my poetry and have like shifted over the years, and I like to dabble in like a lot of different things.
There you go.
At this period, when I left my job, I was on my activist tip. So being on my activist tip, I'm like on my conspiracy theories, and I want to live off the grid, and like money is fake, and and credit is stupid, and all this other stuff, and not even realizing that. I was like, okay, you want to be able to feed your family off of this, right? So you can't go around saying money is stupid. Like you can't go around saying you want to live off the grid. Like for 2 years, I was nomadic. Like I was in my car. I was like sleeping on couches. I was just traveling to different states. And it's like, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot. I had some great experiences. But that's not quite going to get me where I want to go. This vision that I have in my head, my actions and my habits, the habits have to match where you want to go. You know, when I had to really start disciplining myself, going back to that word, disciplining myself and understanding what my brand is and what it represents. And just not even what I represent, but what I represent to my family and as the spoken word poetry community, the industry. You know, if I want to be a juggernaut, I got to act like one. You know, I got to play like one. I got to think like one. I got to move like one. And I'm not going to do that without a website. You know, I'm not going to do that without a crystallized brand. I'm not going to do that without a contractual agreement that I use for all the business that I do. You know, I'm not going to do that without, you know, like these little things, these little things. You know, I'm not going to do that with bad credit. You know, like, you know, I want business credit. You know, I can't get business credit if I can't get my personal credit together. How does that work? You know, like you have to prove to yourself and to the universe that you're ready for the next steps, you know, and that's what I didn't do quite yet. I was like saying I wanted to do it. It's kind of like the fake it till you make it type of thing. But I don't know if I believe in fake it till you make it. I like this. I heard somebody say faith it till you make it.
There you go.
Faith it till you make it. You know, I have faith that the way I'm moving and how I'm doing it, I'm going to make it, you know, but faking it, you're going to stay in fake situations. You know, you're going to get fake results, you know.
We at The Poet Life are excited to invite you to be a part of something that we've all been longing for. For far too long, each and every one of us have been searching for a way to get connected with like-minded people, specifically poets who have the desire to make poetry their career. We've all heard more than once from more than one person that there is no money in poetry. This couldn't be further from the truth. Your poetry is invaluable. Allow us to show you how successful you can be with your poetry. Learn how you can go from being an individual poet to launching a business that offers poetry as a service. Join us as we build the poetry industry together. The Poetry Business Network that is made of poets from all over the world who are looking to start their career in the poetry industry or simply do more with their poetry. We will meet twice a week on a Zoom call every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will have the opportunity to meet and network with poets from all walks of life. You will also have the privilege of meeting and learning from the best professional poets in the world. Many of them have been guests on the Poet Life podcast. We have also incorporated a book club where we read personal development books to help us change our mindset. In order for us to realize our greatness as professional poets, we must renew our minds. So, for just $1, you can check out the Poetry Business Network to see if you like it. We are confident that you will. If you choose to become a member after the first week, membership will be $79 a month. But if for whatever reason you don't, you can cancel at any time. There is no obligation. So, make the investment of just $1 and change the way you see and pursue poetry. We hope you become a part of the Poetry Business Network. Together, we can build the poetry industry.
Yeah. And your foundation is going to be fragile when you fake it till you make it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of faking it has a lot to do with skipping steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. Like, you're faking it. You're not going through the process for real.
Right.
You're doing anything and everything to jump to the next stage, the next step. And when you do that, that means you've missed the lessons. So like algebra, it's hard to learn the next level of math when you haven't learned the previous steps. You know, it looks like you got the problem right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That PEMDAS will tear you up. That parentheses and
even and here's the thing, even if you get the answer right by accident, let's say you get the answer right, then the teacher or somebody's like, well, show your work.
Check your work.
You can't even show the work. You don't even know how you got there. So like, how valuable is it? You know, it was a one-time thing. If you can show your work,
how valuable are you when you can't teach someone else?
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yes. And that's the key, man. That's where I'm at in my career now. Is like, okay, I've done almost everything that I wanted to do as a spoken word artist. The only one thing that I haven't done is go international, and that's happening like soon. People keep saying I'm internet. Yeah, he's international, like things that I've done, and they just casually said it. And I just like, I didn't say anything. I'm just like internalizing it. Like, yeah, I haven't, but to speak that in my life, you know. So that's literally the only thing I haven't done. But besides that, I've pretty much accomplished a lot of things that I've wanted to do with this career. So my next step is, how do I make myself more valuable to the industry? How do I help other poets and spoken word artists? How do I help the lovers of poetry and spoken word, you know, to lift them at the same time? And that's kind of like what I do with my social media is, you know, with the poets and the spoken word artists, I'm informing, you know, I'm giving information. With the people who love it, I'm entertaining them, you know, like this is entertainment. And what I'm really starting to master is that's that middle ground, that bridge between the two, you know, and do both at the exact same time. So that's really super important to me, you know, creating resources that benefit both sides, you know.
Yeah. Well, I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to, first of all, keep doing what you're doing because I recognize it. And just keep building on what you're doing and keep studying everything around you like you're doing, right? You've had to study reels to produce them like you're producing them, right? So keep studying them because they're ever evolving, as you know, as you can see, right? They're adding new features like almost every week to this whole thing, right? And keep teaching, man. Keep teaching, you know, go live and talk to the people who follow you and your new followers and share what you know. You know, Shan's he says it often, you know, give the information give the information away. Give it away. That fortifies your status, your stance as a thought leader.
Absolutely.
Because they'll trust you even more. Right. And they will then pay, they will still pay you. So a lot of people just think, I'm not giving away my free information. I'm not giving information for free. You know, but you're missing it. You're missing it. They will still pay you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they will pay you even more.
Yeah.
Because it's validated. You've proved that you know what you're talking about. You know, Gary V says that the name of his book was I think it's Jab Jab Punch. I think something like that. And what he means is free. Give the information. Give the information. Hey, I got this book. Oh, we buying that book. All this free information that you gave us. You ain't gotta ask. Just put it out there. You see what I'm saying? You
That
know,
trust, man. That's
yeah. So when they trust your brand, anything you put out there, they'll support. I'll use that word. You know, they'll support through purchasing. And the other word for that is investing in your brand. Because they know they'll get an ROI from it. They've already gotten it from all of your free information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, and that's really where I'm at now. So one of the keys to my social media strategy is to like, okay, yeah, I got products. I got all kinds of products, all kinds of merch and stuff like that. But right now, I just want to establish this relationship on a very genuine and organic and really entrenched level, you know. So I've literally paused everything. It's like, okay, I'm gonna just talk to y'all. We're just gonna have a conversation, and how you feel at the end of this conversation, and what I mean by the end of the conversation, by the end of this year, that'll determine, you know, you'll have in your mind what my value is to you, you know. And it's just really 2022, man, is just so awesome because I literally have the whole year mapped out. Like literally November of last year, I mapped out the whole year. So like I literally know what I have time for, what I don't have time for, you know, where my focus is. I don't have to, because I've heard on your podcast a few times, some people say basically it's like analysis paralysis. Like I have all these ideas and I'm that type of person. You know, I was that type of person, you know, who had all these ideas. And it's like, what you have to do is prioritize. Okay, which ones are the most important? Which ones will kind of help me get to the other ones faster? And stay there, you know, because what happened is I try to stay there. And then it's like this other idea. And I just start kind of working on that a little bit. And then start working on
that shiny new idea.
90, right? All these ideas, man. But you have to be, like we said, consistent. And that's where I'm at now. Just like, okay, I'm gonna keep going down this road. I'm gonna keep pounding on this door. And I'm not gonna stop until it opens. I'm not gonna stop until it opens. And that's why I just feel really good about this year, man. I'm not stopping until it opens. So yeah, consistency, man. We're gonna keep going.
I believe you, man. I look forward to seeing more and more of your reels because you're inspiring me. Like I said earlier, you know, my personal brand that I've rebranded. You know, earlier in the podcast, you know, my name was Christoph Wrights, and someone said to me, they were like, you know, so I know you're the CEO and, you know, you got all of this going. But where's your poetry? And I'll be honest, and this is the first time I've said it, you know, I thought my past was enough to sustain my statement of saying that I'm a poet. And my excuse was, well, man, I don't have time, and I'm building this thing. I'm building the poet life, and you know, and I have a wife, and I have 3 daughters, 7 and under, and a church and a job, and I'm like, okay, got you, you know. But again, your name is Christoph Wrights. You know,
right? What are you writing?
Because my name was Christoph Wrights for the longest.
Right.
When I was writing and when I was publishing and when I was performing, I was like, man, you get me. You're sticking me right now, man. But it was necessary.
Yeah.
But it was so necessary, man. And I'm so glad I had that conversation because I started writing again. You know, I've rebranded my personal brand. I'm currently in the process of rebranding my personal brand. So I'm no longer at Christoph Wrights, but at I am Christoph Jenkins. So which allows me to not simply be just that writer, but I can be myself as an entrepreneur, but myself as a poet as well. Right. And but you know, you need those realizations, those revelations. You need that because you'll think you right on the right track. In some areas you are.
Right.
Some other areas you think nope.
Yeah. J. Cole says it. He has this line that I love. He says, the good news is you came a long way. The bad news is you was going the wrong way, you know, like, you know, and then that hits, right? But you though, man, you are going the right way. And the reason I say that, man, so like I said, I binged the entire Poet Life podcast, like because I love information about the industry, you know, and that's purely, it was pure raw information. And I came on because my boy Justin Patton out here in Atlanta, he was on, and I was like, Poet Life. And I was like, whoa, they got episodes. And I like listened to like 3 of them, and I was like, no, I need to listen to all of this. Like, so I literally was like carving out time so I could just listen and like I told you on the ground. my value went up 300% as an artist, just from the information alone,
you.
you know. But what happened was I had noticed, because I was working backwards. I didn't start from the beginning and go up. I was going backwards at first. And then I saw like there was like other hosts or something like that. I was like, oh, wait, there's like a whole journey of this whole thing. So I stopped and I started from episode 1, season 1, and then went up, you know. And what I want to say to you, man, is like, oh my God, like your story in this podcast, man, it's like amazing. And I'm literally telling other people, like I have a homegirl named Vanessa Verse. She's starting her own podcast. She's like on episode 7 now. And she's like discouraged about certain things. She has anxiety about speaking and being in front of the camera and all that stuff. I was like, yo, you need to listen to the Poet Life. Start at episode 1, like, and just to see, like, you wanted to be behind the scenes. And then like you felt like you had to step into it. You stepped into it, and then it all completely fell into your lap. And you're like, well, it's in my lap now. And I literally hear your personality and your shell coming off. Like with each episode, you got a little bit more involved, a little bit more precise, a little bit more intentional, a little bit, and like to where it is now, where it's like it's flawless now. You got the formula now. And I'm just like, yo, that is the most amazing thing. Like out of all the information, the story of it is the most amazing part to me, man. How it got from there to here. So that's dope. That's your virtual flowers, you know. I guess.
I love that, man. I appreciate that, because that was the vision and that is the mission. Yeah. It, like I said, I chose to stop giving examples from behind the scenes, but to step forward and simply be the example. Yeah. You know, and so I appreciate that validation and confirmation and affirmation, you know, because, you know, like we said, you know, we can feel and know that we're going in the right direction, you know, but sometimes it isn't until someone says it that you're like, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's the head nod. You know, that's what's up. Like it's actually working. It's actually happening. And I'm glad it's coming off that way, you know, because that's what legacy is. Yeah. That's what legacy is. And I want, man, like if poets would just know how powerful and valuable they are, you know, and if more poets had foresight and vision to see reels, we're great with words. We're great with portraying. That's perfect for poets. Podcasts, perfect for poets. Poets love the stage. They love the mic. You get your own mic every week, however often you want, like, and you love expressing yourself. Like this is so perfect because it's a built-in platform for you. Literally, like as soon as you start, everybody's like, yo, he's starting a podcast. Yo, I need to get on that. Like, you know, and then you elevate, and you graduate from being an individual to developing into an entity. That's where I need, not just want, I need poets to get to. Like, because it's about ownership now. Yeah, it's been about ownership, but someone needs to say it. Like it's about ownership. Own digital real estate, social real estate, artistic real estate. Own what you do, because now, you know, you don't have to wait for opportunities. You can create them. That's it. That's it, man. That's it. Hey, now you don't have to wait. Man, nobody's calling me. Nobody's DMing me. Why haven't you DM'd somebody? Oof.
And that's what I was telling my boy, you know, that wanted me to take that year, you know, like, no, wait a year. It's like, bro, like, I can't see, I can see what you're saying, but I don't see how that gets me where I want to go. Where I want to go, I don't even know what it looks like, you know, so I have to go figure that out. You know, I have to go find that, you know, and the same thing with social media, same thing with the tours, same thing with the albums. Oh my God, like everything I've tried in my career, I'm like experimenting, you know, like I'm like, there's no proof of concept. Well, I'm gonna make the concept. Now here's the proof. Like, you know, that's really what it's about, man. That's really what it's about. You got to jump out that window, man. Sometimes you just got to do it. You got to go for it.
For sure. You got an album. Talk to me
man,
about that album, man. What's your plan for that album?
Yeah, so this is my 5th album. This is actually my 6th album. I've done 2 visual albums, but this is my 5th audio album. And so I can't really go too deep into it.
That's cool. Yeah, for sure. I understand.
But what I can say is that I will be submitting it, you know, to the boys or whatever. And so the Grammys or whatever. I want to get into that real fast. It's funny how that even happened, because initially, kind of like poetry is like whatever, you know. That's how it started with me and like the Grammys. Like, I don't need their approval. I don't need nobody's. You know, I've been doing me forever. Like, whatever, you know. Right. But what happened in 2021, man? So there's this amazing woman named Ingrid B in Miami, and she's been curating poetry events longer than I've been doing poetry, you know. So she's like one of the legends, one of the OGs in the game, you know. So what happened was I met her on Clubhouse. Well, I seen her on the gram years ago. I've been following her. I follow a lot of people, you know, who are like really making moves, and but we connected on Clubhouse during the pandemic. And she offered me to do a feature on Clubhouse. So like I did this whole feature. I had like these pre-recordings to kind of like help create this atmosphere type of thing. I basically gave you what it would be like in person, but through audio type of thing, you know. And like everybody was blown away. She was like, yeah, we got to bring you to Miami. So like they flew me out to Miami. I was there for like 5 days. I wound up doing 4 events, you know. And I mean, it was like, whew, I ate. Anyway, a month later, this is like March, April. It's like April. Like a month later, she pings me into this Clubhouse room because Jay Ivy is in there talking about, you know, the Grammys and how to, you know, submit and all this other stuff. So I step in, you know, and I got my notepad out. I'm just taking notes or whatever, you know. And she asked me, she pulled me on stage and like, hey, you know, B-Rock, you got any questions? I was like, no, I'm just, you know, just taking notes, you know. She was like, I know you are. She was like, Jay Ivy, this is B-Rock, very creative dude. He's like, yeah, what's up? You know, whatever, real fast. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm still kind of like about the Grammys, right? So maybe a month after that, they had this Zoom call, where they kind of brought in like some of the, you know, the movers and shakers in the poetry.
Oh, you were industry. On that call?
Oh, right. So you was on it. Yeah. So
no, I wasn't on it. He told me about it on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we all on this call, and like Sekou Andrews, who's like one of my heroes. Like, so like it started with my boy Josephus Thompson, then it was Clement Mallory, then it was Ed Mabry, and then it was Sekou Andrews, right? So like at the time it's Sekou, right? And so like the fact that he's in there talking, I'm like, oh my God, this is like fate, like because he submitted to the Grammys, he was actually nominated last year, 2 years ago, and he wound up losing to Michelle Obama's audiobook. That's a whole nother story. Audiobooks in the spoken word category, whatever. JR, we already talked about that. Y'all listen to that episode to get more information. But what happened was I'm like, okay, now I have mixed feelings. I went from to now I'm like, I'm in and out. And then a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, one of my OGs out here, Abyss, the legendary Abyss, who lives out here in Atlanta, one of the Deaf Poets, Peabody Award winner. He's done amazing things. The only poet to have a song with Prince, you know, only poet to do that. And he's going to be the only poet because Prince ain't here no more, you know. So so that's a single title that he has. But yeah, this is one of my greatest mentors. He's like, yo, you need to come out to Jay Ivy. He's having a screening of his album that got nominated for the Grammy or whatever. He's gonna be in Atlanta at this location, this time. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go, you know, I'm there a little early. You know, me and my girl Erica, we sitting out there in the lobby, and then he finally let us in, and I'm the first person to walk into the theater. I was like, you know, can we go back there? He's like, yeah. So I walked in the theater, and this dude is down there at the bottom. And he's like, yo, who that? I was like, it's B-Rock, who that? You know, he's like, I'm Jay Ivy. I was like, oh, snap, word, you know. So we having a cool little casual conversation, and it was lit. You know, I'm like, okay, boom, you know, I'm here. You know, this is the third time, you know, this is the third time, because he's like giving me this information. They had like an after party after the screening at this restaurant, and he's like, "Yo, like, give me an." He's like, "Yo, B-Rod, you know, woo, woo, give me an album. You know, I'm gonna submit it, whatever, woo, woo, woo." And at that point, I'm like, "Dude, like, what are you doing? Like, submit your album, bro." Like, and like, the thing is, it's not even just about submitting it. What I realized as I've been working on this project is that the Grammys is like the worst that can happen with this project, because what's happening is, because I'm submitting it, it's challenging me to put my absolute best foot forward on this one. It's making me realize that the first 5 was practice. That was the practice round, you know. And like, granted, there was some corners I cut on the other ones, you know, production. You know, the last 2 I produced myself, you know, like mixed, mastered everything myself. You know, and like it sounds like I mixed and mastered it, right? So but the beauty is, now I know I'm ready. This album is about to shake the world up. That's how intense it is. Just to give you a briefing of what it is, it's basically, the message is love, but it's going to be a dance spoken word album. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. But
I'm sure you'll drip through, you know, and drip some drops of the album, you know, through your content creation.
Oh yeah, it's coming. Indeed. It's actually already been in there. People don't even realize it, but I'm like, like little things that you don't even know why I'm doing right now. So I'm like 5 or 6 months ahead on my social media content. I have like 200 pieces of content I'm sitting on, like, you know, and like 20 just sitting in the draft chamber, ready to go out if I wanted to with a button, you know. But so the stuff that people are seeing now, I'm like 4 or 5 months ahead. You know, I'm planting seeds all the way up through this whole year. It's about to be crazy. Like, this is about to get crazy when it unfolds. So yeah.
I love that, man. That's good stuff. You know, I want to talk to you more about this content creation.
Yeah.
You know, the best part about having this podcast is, one, I get to pick the brains of some amazing artists and people, but I also get to check their business acumen and all that good stuff, and because I see it on social media, but when you have that conversation, you know, and it's the same, it's just like, that's what I'm talking about. I love that. You know, because when it's different, it's weird, you know. It's, you know, so but I say that to say, you know, we have the Poet Life University, and where we teach poets how to do more, right? I say do more because not every poet wants to make it a career.
Right.
So it's do more and or create a poetry career. And so I want to talk to you about that content creation. Right?
Sure.
We currently have a course where, you know, how to grow your brand through social media with Anthony Highland. You know, I speak 1906, but specifically the content creation. I think that would be a dope course right there.
Yeah. Because there's the brand is one thing, but that's like the first step.
That's the overall, like, you know what I mean? But specifically to dive into how to really do it and translate it through the spoken word lens or the poetry lens, you know, I think that would be a dope situation, bro.
Yeah, man. So just a couple of keys, if I can go into it. So it starts first and foremost, like, take the branding class. Whoever's listening to this, take the branding class first, because that's the first thing that you need. You have to establish your brand. If you don't establish your brand, your message is going to be it's going to be difficult to see what you do and what you're about, you know, and what message you want to send, you know, what is it that you want people to remember you by, you know, type of thing, you know. So the brand is very, very, very important. That's the first thing you have to do, you know, and kind of not jumping around, but you got to do that for your own life too. You know, like, you can't really do that or understand your brand if you don't understand your life and your passions and your likes, you know, because so one of my mentors, my dude Sincere, he said, you got to have a mission statement for your life. You know, I literally created a mission statement for my life. So the things that I do have to be aligned with that mission. You know, first and foremost, CEO of your life, then you become the CEO of your business. So now we're talking about being the CEO of your social media page, your brand. What is the mission of your brand? After that, you want to appraise your current activity on social media. What are you currently doing? What is already working for you? What is kind of making you uncomfortable? Where do you need to grow? So I definitely encourage people to, if you're on, we just take Instagram, for example, create a creator or a business account. You know, there's a personal, you know, or private page, but you want to turn it into a creator or a business account so you can see those insights. You need those insights. That is crucial information. Data is king, as they say. Data is king. Knowing what's working, what's not working, when it's working and when it's not working. Because it's not necessarily that it's not working. It's about when you're posting it. You know, that's probably like one of the key things. I realize my best engagement is from 9 in the morning to about 11 in the morning. You know, except on Saturdays. Saturdays, for some reason, I can't figure it out. Like,
I realized that this weekend, man. I posted a dope reel, and I was like, "What's going on here?"
Y'all said this the one, and I'm so happy you said that. You have to just like let it do what it has to do. You know, because what happens is we'll post it and we're like, what, like 10 likes, like, oh, like, no, it ain't about that. Because it can literally, my homeboy, Sir Alex, he literally just had a post that's like mini viral right now. It's got like over 100,000 views.
The comedian?
And he posted it weeks ago.
And when he first Sir Alex, the comedian?
Yeah, that's my dude. Yeah. So he posted this weeks ago, and it did, you know, whatever it did, regular numbers, and then literally overnight, 50,000 views overnight, weeks after he posted it. You know, so it's like you gotta kind of, when I divorced myself from that, like, because at the beginning I would like put a lot of thought and you know, energy into this post, and I post it and I'm checking like every hour to see how it's doing. It's like, man, like, no. So like now I'm just, because I have so much and I'm just on a schedule now, I just kind of it's going to do what it has to do. You know, as long as those few people who saw it, and I'm getting that one extra person to see it, that's all that matters. Just that one extra person. That's all you want to do. One at a time. Go one at a time. So, you know, that goes into the next step. You know, after you know, appraise your activity, your social media activity, then you want to figure out a strategy. You know, what is your strategy? And this comes from just studying social media gurus or social media experts or whatever, all over YouTube. It's literally like 1,000 videos.
Study.
The 3 H's, the 5 B's, the 10 H's, the 11, you know, all these different steps. And what you want to do is just start practicing all these different ones. That's what I did. Like, I would take, okay, this guy, he's doing it like this, the 3-3-3. So this guy named, was it John Henry Clark? No, I said John Henry Clark. John something, but basically he had the 3 H's. I just always remember this, and it was the hero, the hub, and the hygiene.
Oh, John Henry.
John Henry, right, yeah. Hero,
I
hub,
follow
hygiene.
the same guys you follow, man.
That's dope. Yeah, so we there, right. So you already know. So yeah, he had that for some reason. I don't use it anymore, but for some reason that one stuck out to me, and I used it for quite some time. You know, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it like that for like these couple of months, and then I tried another one. I'm doing it like that. At the end of the day, you want to develop your own strategy. You try all these different strategies so you can see what parts are working for you and what parts aren't, and then you develop your own strategy. Right. So you establish your brand. You praise your current social media activity, and then you figure out your own strategy. Once you've done those 3 things, then you want to create a schedule. You want to create 2 types of schedules. The first schedule is a posting schedule. When do I post this content? I'm going to do it once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, maybe once on Monday, twice on Tuesday, you know, whatever, have your different times. You can download different third-party apps that'll help you with your posting schedule, like the Later app or Hootsuite. You know, Hootsuite. I use Later now, but I was using Hootsuite for a grip. Like that thing got me through for a little minute, you know. So that really helps as well. With Reels, unfortunately, you can't really schedule your Reels, so you got to kind of keep that schedule to yourself, you know, type of thing.
You can save them in your draft, though.
That's the key, right? So that's what I do. I save them in my draft. I know around what time I'm going to post. So around that time, I'm about to be on social media, I post, you know, boom, put my post up, then I engage for a little bit, and then I get on with my day, type of thing. So 2 types of schedule: the posting schedule and your creating schedule. You want to carve out some time for when you actually create this content, because you don't want to just be like every single day. If I'm gonna be posting, people, and that's what discourages people. They're like posting every day. They think they got to create content every single day. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. You can carve out some time. For right now, my days are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Usually just Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I'll literally I'll be in this art room, and I'll just be like, getting my ideas together. And like the way my strategy is right now with the reels, I just like, when I'm scrolling, I'm not just like scrolling just to be consuming. I'm saving. I'm like, well, I like that audio. I like that audio. I like that audio. And then I'll take another day where I'll go through all the different audios, and I'll be like, okay, what can I attach to that? What's the message for this one? What's the message for that?
On my board right now.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so what's this one? What's that one? Boom. And then I actually create it. And have it prepped somewhere, mostly in the drafts or just in my camera roll or what have you. So yeah, those are your two schedules. Then lastly, rinse and repeat. That's it. Rinse and repeat, man. So you go back through your 4 or 5 things again. This is everything I'm doing online with my brand. Okay, cool. Based on what I've put out so far now, based on this new schedule, what is my activity? What is doing well? What's not doing well? What do I need to change around? What are people really, really gravitating to? And then redo your schedule again, and then rinse and repeat. And you just do that over and over, bro. And before you know it, you just have these random people. What's been so effective with my social media is that I'm realizing that I'm staying at the top of people's mind.
Yeah.
And that's really just the key, is just the relevancy. Just staying relevant. It's just staying relevant and fresh at the same time, so
yeah. And that's what businesses do.
Mm-hmm.
They stay on top of people's mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see David Shands all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he stays at top of mind, and whether it's seeing Nike or whatever it might be, and because some people is like, they look down on trying to stay relevant, and that's you're looking at it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at it from a standpoint of popularity, of being relevant. When we talk about celebrities, he's not even relevant anymore. We're not talking about that. We're talking about marketing.
Mm-hmm.
It's two different things. Popularity and marketing are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
So one relevant and the other relevant aren't the same. Different connotations.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So this is so good, man. Like I say all the time on the podcast, I could do this all night. But again, I definitely want to talk to you more about that, because you've already given a little course right here.
Yeah, low key. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what our students love and appreciate is that intimacy with the professor that is able to dig into what they have going on. All right, let's go check your social media. Let me go see that last reel that you did. All right, you could have done it a little different, actually that was really good. You know what I'm saying? And it's like practical application. Like when they get out of that class, that 1 hour class, they can hop right on it. Switch up and change things the way it needs to go.
Yeah, because there's the features through Reels is awesome. Like they're growing, ever expanding. But you definitely want to download some other apps that are really, really help take it to the next level. So like InShot, Fonto, Vaunt. Vaunt has been my favorite for making my flyers, my event flyers. Vaunt is king right now. It's like Fonto on steroids.
Yeah, I use Canva for my graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so Vaunt is VONT or
VONT? Yeah. So it's Fonto, but for video.
Got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So instead of putting the words on a photo, you're putting the words on the actual video, and it's sweet, man. Like the way you and you got to just play with these things. So this is, like I said, this is like 5 years of me really, really diving into and taking social media serious. Because before that 5 years, like I told you, I was just this very anti person. So even social media was like, I ain't worried about that. We too real for all of that over here, type of thing.
Right.
Anybody trying to be popular, right? I was thinking about it like that. But once you realize, how effective it is, man, whew.
I had a conversation with my then barber. Notice I said then. Uh, uh, and real authentic dude. You know, urban. I don't want to say from the hood.
Sure.
But his whole thing was, I ain't about all that social media stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a barber. I said, stop right there. I said, you're not just anything.
Mm-hmm.
We got to stop saying that about ourselves. I'm just whatever. Said, no, I'm sitting in your chair for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you saving my then hairline. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately I was sharing with them, like, you're not just an individual.
Yeah.
You're an entity, you're a business, or at the very least you should be.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, back to the different definitions of relevant, or even social media, because I said, I know how you're looking at social media. You're not doing it for the fakeness of it, but look at it on the other side of it. It's free marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be here in Maryland, but people in other cities and states know about how good you are. To go to Instagram real quick. I told him, said, stop what he's doing. Go to Instagram and type in barber or best barber. And he was seeing all of these, like, popular or just, barbers that were using social media to their advantage. And he noticed they were good, but like he was just as good or better. But he was like, yo, I didn't really look at it like that. And now he's doing his social media thing. You know what I'm saying? And I hit him up in a DM all the time, like, yo, I see you, bro. He said, man, I appreciate you, bro. I know, man. I was like, yeah, man, that's what we here for. You know what I'm saying? You know, so for that poet, let's not look at the things around us and just think that there are things around us. It's not just things around us. Like, they're here that for you to leverage.
It's a part of us.
Life is evolving like light years now. And if we don't get ahead of it, we're going to be behind, like we've been. It's like a traditional church that refuses to
modernize.
catch up.
Yeah.
We're going to be just like that if we don't get in it like you're getting into it. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep on saying that there's no money in poetry, when we easily, like, with my rebranding, I'm getting back into writing haiku. Right. So that allows me to niche down in poetry and be that haikuist. And so starting tomorrow, so like years past, I was on my typewriter kick and writing haiku, right? And posting my haiku on my Instagram. But now I've graduated into content creation with my haiku now, right? I'm still on my typewriter kick, but I'm using a video that's recording me typing the haiku, the inspiration haiku.
Yeah, I seen one. Yeah, I seen one today. Yeah.
And now I'm incorporating the songs and sounds that relate to the topic of my haiku. So I get that engine behind it. The same engine that's pushing all of these reels. Man, the different elements of it, them reading it as I'm typing, the audio, even the effects to it, it's just like touching all of your taste buds, feels, all of that, man. And so I'm excited. You know, as you said, I gave a little teaser, you know, with that get ready one. And it's like, because I'm doing them daily now. I'm starting tomorrow. It'll be daily.
I love it.
So I'm excited. Like tonight, I'm excited to post for tomorrow.
Right. that'd be the thing for me. Like the next reel that's coming up, if I know it's like one of the ones, I'll be looking. I literally would just watch it 10 times that night before while I'm going to sleep. Like, yo, I'm about to kill him in the morning.
Let me go into the edit real quick. And let me check it out again one more time. My wife was like, if you don't stop watching that reel.
It's funny. I feel the same way about my when you're talking about like wanting it to like really do numbers. The one I just posted, like maybe was it yesterday, 2 days ago? It's the Thor audio. Basically, like the microphone like zaps into my hand,
bro.
Like I was like, I'm gonna kill
Was that reverse?
Was that
reverse? Did you do reverse on that?
Yeah. So I used.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So basically, I had to. It took like 17 tries to get the timing.
The timing.
Yeah, because like the switch to the other hand, when I throw the microphone to the other hand, that was the hard part. Was like
because it had to go with the time of what is it? What did he say? I am worthy.
Right. He was like he zaps it and he's like, and then it's like a zoom, like that zoom. That little thing was like killing me. Like,
how many times, dog?
It was like 17. It took me like 17 tries. And actually, what I did was the one I posted. It still was a little bit off, but what the InShot app allows you to do is kind of elongate or shorten certain parts. So that's what I did there. So I think I like shortened something to make the timing perfect so that it was like on point. But I was like, I'm gonna kill him with this one in the morning.
Yeah, that was fire.
I'm getting DMs about that one. Yeah, like yo, you gotta show me. You gotta show. Like, nah.
I was like, shoot. Let me do that with a pen or something.
That's it. That's it, man.
That's awesome, man. I love it, man. I love having these conversations, man. Because like we said earlier, when you're not surrounded by, you know, these like-minded people, when you do get in conversation with them, it's like, it's like we're frat brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
You know what I mean? So
it's refreshing, yeah.
Most definitely, man. Listen, I appreciate all that you're doing. I want everybody listening, watching, to go follow Mr. B Rockstar. Go follow him and see what we're talking about. We've been talking about it for the past 30 minutes. Go see what we're talking about. That's his IG right there, Mr. _B Rockstar. And he's submitting to the Grammys. He's doing a lot of things and he's constantly elevating that. And that right there is what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Constantly elevating in everything that you do, because it's inevitable. It's inevitable when you constantly elevate, and so many people. I won't say so many, but a lot of people will ask me like, "How are you able to do so much?" Because I simply focus on elevating in every area. Period. When I was working my 9 to 5, when I start a new job, I go in knowing I'm going to learn all I can learn. And once I've learned it all, I'm out. I don't get a job and say, hey, I'm just so happy I got a job.
Right.
I'm on a mission.
It's a mission, right? It's an intention.
When I hit that ceiling, it's time for me to roll. When I got all the information, where there ain't no more information for me time for me to roll. You know, whether that's a year or 2 years.
Right.
You know, and that should be. I hate putting stuff on other people, but that will help so many people. Listen, it's the Poet Life podcast. Like I said, I can continue. I'll probably go live after this. I don't know, because I'm excited. And I love having these conversations. As a matter of fact, starting Wednesday, which will be the second of this month. It's not February yet. It's still the 31st. The 2nd of February, every Wednesday, I'll be going live at 9:00, and I want to have a conversation like this, similar to it, either with potential professors or students, but just have this conversation for the masses to hear. And I would love to have you on Wednesday if you're available, man. Just no pressure. Just check your schedule. Let's see what that looks like. I would love to have that open conversation with you. We can kind of answer questions and stuff like that on the live and stuff. So good stuff, man. Listen, if you could impart something that could impact someone, what would that be? I hate to put you on the spot, but
no, it's cool because I was waiting for this moment. You always say what's your final words? And honestly, low key, I wanted to let it to be organic, because what I was going to say was my final words is to listen to this podcast. You're going to get all the inspiration, all the impact that you need if you just listen to this podcast, to be honest, but coming straight from the horse's mouth. Based on our conversation, 2 things. 1, be consistent. 2, be honest. 1, be consistent. 2, be honest. 1, be consistent. Never as long as you keep going. And it's the trick. It's a trick, because it's how long? But no, just keep going. That is the success, and that's what people don't realize. The road to success, the best part is the journey, because once you get there, you're there. The fun part, the beautiful part, the ugly part, the challenges, all of that. That's where life is. That's where your life lives. Is the journey, the consistent journey. But the second thing is the honesty. You have to be honest with yourself. In 2018, I did the most intense shadow work on myself that I ever had done in my life. I basically lifted every single rock open, every single trauma, anything that ever bothered me about anything, wrote it down, I talked about it, and I worked through it. I let my spirit have it. I literally went toe to toe with every single demon that I had, every single one. And my life has been transformed since then. But I had to be honest. It was some things I was scared to even write down. It's just me in the room. I don't even want to be honest with myself. I'm letting myself think it didn't happen. You're no, it happened. Say it. Now claim your power back. Take your power back. That's the only way you're going to be successful in this, is if you can take your own power back. You have to do that. If you want to be a rock star, that's my brand. So I say I was initially the Mr. B Rock, the rock star poet, but now I'm just Mr. B Rockstar, And I tell people, no matter if you didn't know, you're a rock star as well. No matter what you do with your life, love what you do what you love, have fun with it, and you can't do that if you don't fully understand what your superpower is. You're so caught up in your super flaws that you're not giving enough energy and power to your superpowers. So be honest, stay consistent, and be honest. Stay consistent and be honest. That's what I got on it.
That's what it is. You heard it from Mr. B Rockstar. Stay consistent. It's inevitable, right? It's inevitable. Stay honest. Let's do away with that fake it until you make it. Let's simply faith it until you make it. You will make it if you keep going. All ties together. Listen, before we go for another hour, it is the Poet Life Podcast. If you want to hear more information about what we're doing, go to thepoetlife.com. Follow us on The Poet Life on Instagram and wherever else, TikTok and everything. And if you want to know more, DM us. We'll even have a conversation with you there. We have another show called Rocking the Poet Life. And so if you do purchase something, if you do buy something from poetlifegear.com, you automatically become a guest on the show Rocking the Poet Life. That's another show where you actually can become a guest on the show. So really excited about that. We have a lot of stuff coming up. So just check us out. And B Rock has a lot coming up as well. So follow him. Listen, it's the Poet Life Podcast. I hope you got some value. If you did, let us know. We're out.
One love.
Find a way, find a way.